talking about self-love and how it's not selfish. Self-love and self-care, like, that is very important. I encourage everyone to practice self-care methods. Somebody saying that they have self-love or they have, self-care, that's not them necessarily saying that they're a selfish person. But it's more so about caring about your overall health, your mental health, emotional health, physical, all that. Having self-care, making sure that you are good. Because, let's face it, like, yes, we have family and friends, whatever, but at the end of the day, ain't nobody gonna make sure you good like you and God. Ain't nobody got you like you got you. You know what I'm saying? So, I want to talk about some ways to have self-love. Like, if you're a person and you're lacking, self-care, these are some things that you can do to try to, better yourself in that area. You have to make sure people don't have, like, full access to you. Like, you have to balance yourself in that area because it can be very stressful. If you're dealing with people 24/7 and let's say that of course you have your own personal responsibilities and then you have people like just constantly on you. They need you to do stuff for them. Anything. Like that could be very overwhelming. So you have to set boundaries when it comes to allowing people to have access to you. Me, one of my ways of setting boundaries is I don't have my ringer on my phone. I have my phone on vibrate majority of the time. And my mother cannot stand that. But, that's just something for me. If I don't want to deal with my phone at that moment, I'm not going to deal with my phone. When I'm in the mood to deal with it, to be on my phone, and then I'll get to the person that has reached out to me. If I'm resting for work or just chilling, if I'm just at home and I don't feel like being bothered, like simple as that, I'm not going to be on my phone. I'm not going to answer your call. I'm not going to answer your message. Like, I'm having me time. And you have to set boundaries with people in that area. It's very important to limit people's access to you. Having self-care and self-love, you have to make sure that you are good. You have to make sure that you're not putting yourself in a bind to help someone else. I know some people say that they give their last. If it's gonna put you in a bind, do not give. Just say you don't have it to give. If you get in a bind and something turn off or you come up short and you broke as a joke and you ain't got nobody to call on to help you out, then what you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? It's good to give to people. If you have it to give, then by all means give. I'm a person, I love to help people out, but you have to set that boundary and knowing when to help and when not to, because at the end of the day, some people will also take advantage of that you're a nice giving person and they will keep using you until they can't anymore. You have to care about yourself enough to say no to people.
You got a little hot ass, open the door.
Another thing with self-care is letting toxic people go, cutting toxic people off. If a person is, they're causing more hurt than good in your life, then you need to cut that person off. Or if you feel like their energy is draining your spirit, they just suck the life out of you with their problems and everything they got going on, or if they're just an overall negative person, they talk negative. They never have nothing good to say or everything's always about them. That's the person that you just simply need to cut off. Family, friends, associates, co-workers, all that. If they're giving off a negative vibe or a draining energy vibe, then you need to cut the person off because that's not good for your self-health. Cut them off. Knowing your worth. Knowing what you don't have to tolerate. That's really, really big. You don't have to tolerate a negative person, no matter who they are. You can love them. You're supposed to love everybody, but you don't necessarily have to deal with them. And that also goes to a person that has hurt you. You are still required to love that person because, that's just in God's word. We have to love our neighbor as ourselves. No matter who that person is, no matter what color that person is, what they did to you, you still have to love that person in spite of what we do to God. He still continues to love us, and we should show our neighbor that same type of affection. Self-love requires forgiveness. You have to forgive yourself for the things that you tolerated in the past that you know that you didn't deserve. And you have to forgive those people that put you through that hurt and pain, knowing that you didn't deserve that. You don't have to mend friendships that was, that just went down in a toxic way. Somebody was talking about you, or, you found out somebody was being fake or something like that. You can love that person from the balcony. You don't have to, mend old bonds and stuff like that. Accept that person for who they are. If a person is being messy, accept the fact that they're a messy person. Love them in spite of their mess, and then move on. Healing. Going through the healing process. Healing from your trauma. It could be childhood trauma, stuff you went through with your family when you was a child. Just anything, any trauma. Now, adulthood, like something that just really hurt you to the core. You have to heal from that to have true self-love. To truly love yourself, you have to heal from your trauma. It's not just gonna be like a walk in the park. Like, no, like it really takes God to heal you. It takes a lot of fasting, praying, talking to God, worshiping Him. These are the things that I did to heal from my trauma that I had. Fully find myself and love the real me, the person that I am today. It didn't take days, months. This took years. And, it wasn't easy at all. It took a lot of screaming, crying, like going off, having breakdowns. And like that is a true healing process. Like social media got healing looking like, it's so beautiful. You burning incense, you're meditating, this and that. Like that is not what true healing looks like. You go through depression sometimes. Some days you may look in the mirror and you may not even recognize yourself sometimes. That is what true healing is. Something that really helps when it comes to healing is, speaking positive affirmations to yourself, or looking in the mirror, finding the true natural beauty within yourself, telling yourself you're beautiful, you're strong, you're powerful, you're an overcomer, you're a child of God. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. You really have to buckle down, find some encouraging scriptures, and encourage yourself on the daily. Look yourself in the mirror and repeat those encouraging scriptures to yourself. And you have to constantly keep doing it until you believe it in your mind. Having a good mental health is top tier for having self-love and self-care. If you don't love yourself, or, if your mind is in a bad place, then you're just going to overall be in a bad place. It's mandatory. It's mandatory. To have self-care and self-love, you have to have good mental health. You look at yourself and you're not happy with yourself on the outside, you could work out, you could get surgery or whatever, but at the end of the day, you're still not going to be fully satisfied. You're still not going to fully overcome that insecurity because it's in your mind. You have to heal your mind and work on your inside. Then once your inside is good, then you work on your outside. Having self-love and self-care is wanting better for yourself, wanting the best for yourself. And if you know a person is not good for you, stop trying to drag them along, because sometimes we can hold up our blessings because we refuse to let people go when God is trying to get that person out of our life. But we're so pressed on the fact that we've known them forever, or maybe you're in a relationship and because you're in love with that person, you don't want to cut them off even though you know that's not the person that God has for you. You're being toxic to yourself. You can know your worth and still not choose what's best for you. You can know you deserve better than the person that you're with, but because of the emotional attachment, you don't want to let that person go. You're just going to have to wake up one day and just realize, like, enough is enough. I want everything that God has for me, and I refuse to allow this person to hold me back any longer. Let them people go. Let them toxic people go. Let them draining people go. You feel like every time you talk to a friend, you're being their counselor 24/7, and you're not getting the same on their end. That person needs a psychiatrist. Let that person go. You're not a therapist. You're a friend. Care of your friend enough to ask, are they in the mental place to help you with your problem? Don't just dump your problem on your friends, because it's not fair to them. Self-love, self-care. Stop being a therapist when you need one yourself. Or if you're in a good place and you just simply don't feel like talking about negative stuff, tell your friend to open the Bible, or tell your friend to talk to God and enjoy your happy life. Go out. Have me time. Spend time with yourself. If you feel like you have to have somebody around you 24/7, that's a problem. You need to search yourself and find out why you can't be alone. If you feel like you have to have a boyfriend or a girlfriend all the time, you can't be single. You need to search yourself and find out, like, why you can't be happy single. Be happy where you are now. Whether it's with someone or without someone. Enjoy you. God is the number one key to finding self-love within yourself. He's the number one key. He can tell you things about yourself that you never knew. If you would have told me 4 or 5 years ago that I would be this holy hippie, I would have never thought, you know? I would have never thought that I would be the person I am today. And you know what? I love me. I love being a free spirit. I love God, serving him, praising him, worshiping him. I'm not a religious person. I don't claim a religion. I don't follow religion. Me saying that I'm a free spirit, that's just me simply saying that my spirit is free in God. I know that I love and serve God, and I'm led by his Holy Spirit. You could be saved and not be free.
I bet you didn't know that.
You could serve God and not be free. I've done this. Saying that you have a free spirit is you're not bound by anything. You know, you don't feel like you're in a box. Me being who I am and what I stand for, even in my bad days when I'm not feeling my best self, in my mind, I'm telling myself, yes, I'm not feeling my best today, but I'm going to overcome this. And that is me saying that I have a positive lifestyle, because even in my negative moments, I know it's not going to last forever. I know God is going to bring me out of it, whether it's emotionally, financially, like whatever. That's the first thing that the enemy is going to attack. He's going to attack your mind. Say if you want to start a business and you get everything together, you get your plan mapped out, the first thing the enemy going to do is come to your mind, oh, you know you ain't smart enough for that. Oh, you know you can't do that. Oh, you know ain't nobody gonna buy your stuff. That's what the enemy does. Like, I wrote my 2 books of my life story, The Life of a Miracle Child, Part 1 and 2. And I will link those below. You can find those at Amazon. When I was writing my books, you know, when God, you know, that's not something that I just did for me. That was prophesied over my life, you know, to tell my story. That was something for God. It wasn't for me to get millions, nothing like that. It was for people to know that God is still in the miracle working business and that he can heal you from anything. But yeah, writing those books, you know, the enemy was on me. I began to have dreams of those traumatic situations that God had healed me from. You know, the devil wanted to put it in my mind that I wasn't healed, even though I know that God had brought me out of those traumatic situations and I was over it. I began to write and remember some things. The devil would try to put that in my spirit, like, oh yeah, this happened to you, that happened to you, this person did you wrong, that person did you wrong. And I would rebuke him like, bye. Sometimes you have to get like that with the enemy. You have to tell the devil, get out my head, stop talking to me. Or start singing some gospel songs, start talking to God. Like, Lord, please come into my mind right now. I know this ain't nothing but Satan, but I rebuke him in the name of Jesus. That's what you have to do. Try to make you think that you're something that you're not. Or he will try to tell you that you're not something and you know that that's what God called you to be. Self-care, self-love, work on that mental health. Just because a person can paint a smile on their face, that does not mean that they're okay inside. So, with that being said, check on your people. If you got people in your life, especially kids these days, because social media is teaching these kids a lot. A lot of these kids are learning the most from social media. So if you have a child in your life or around you, get involved with that child. Depression is real. You know, kids be committing suicide. You know, talk to that child. Make sure, you know, the children in your life, you know, has self-love and they're practicing self-care. Think about it when you were a teenager or a child and you was going through things, and an adult look down on you like, oh, you just a child. You ain't going through nothing. But that's a lie. Like, little children go through depression. Little kids commit suicide for bullying. Make sure that the children in your life, you know, love themselves. You know, because us as adults, we can get wrapped up into ourselves and our work and responsibilities that we forget about them, thinking that, oh, they're good just because they're talking normal. But we know that's not always the case, because think about it, when you were going through and you was seeming normal to the people around you, but you knew that you were broken inside. So yeah, check on your people, check on your children. Like I said, self-love is not selfish. If you're in a great place to help someone else and to boost their self-love, self-esteem, self-care, then help the person that's close to you, that's around you. We want our people to succeed. But yes, we have reached the end of this video. Again, self-love, self-care is very important to have. And after seeing this video, if you don't have it, I, you know, hope this has encouraged you enough to want better for yourself. But yeah, any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. And my name's Shanice Lynette, and I'm out. I'll see you on the next one. Peace, love. Mwah.